Here's what I don't understand about health insurance in America, and that is this, former Treasurer Sarah Steelman, and no one's been able to answer this for me. Maybe you can. It's unconstitutional for the government to force me to buy health insurance for myself, but I have to then pay for other people's health insurance who choose not to buy it.
Well, you don't. I mean, that's unfortunate. I mean, those costs are passed on to other people.
Right. So but why is it constitutional for me to pay for other people's health insurance, but it's not constitutional for me to pay for my own health insurance?
Well, I think you know the answer to that. I mean, this is a direct mandate saying that you have to do something. You have to purchase something. You have to spend your money on a particular item, and Missourians and Americans don't want to be forced into doing that. They don't want the government telling you that you have to purchase a particular product. And moreover, that product in this case has to be government approved.
Right, but there's no consequence to somebody who doesn't have health insurance. The largest faction of people who aren't buying health insurance are healthy young people, and so my insurance is going through the roof because when they do get sick, hospitals must treat these people. So therefore, my insurance is going up. Why don't we pass a law that says hospitals don't have to help these people because there's no consequences to people who don't buy health insurance?
Well, you make a good point, and that's why I think we need to go back in and look at some market-based reforms for health insurance in this country. Would
you be in favor of hospitals or not forcing hospitals to cover people who don't have insurance?
Well, that is an interesting question. I think the whole issue of health insurance needs to be looked at very carefully. You don't want to turn people out in the street. You want to have a good safety net available for those people who need and cannot afford to purchase it. Now, those people who choose not to, that's a little different story, who are healthy. But I don't see how the federal government has the right to come in and say you must purchase a particular product, and that's why it was declared unconstitutional this week.
Right. Well, there's an argument though. But how come the federal government is okay to give people health insurance who are over the age of 65, but not under the age of 65?
Well, as you know, that's been in place a very long time, and they pay into that. Or you're referring to Medicare?
Yeah. No, I pay into that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I mean, I don't get any. I don't get that money back.
Well, you will eventually.
I will eventually, but I'm forced to pay it now.
Well, there's a good question as to whether that is constitutional or not. I think there's some people that talk about that. Let me talk about another proposal, though, that Senator McCaskill came out with this week, and this is that federal spending cap. Did you see that?
Yeah, she actually co-signed or co-sponsored a bill with a couple of people from your party.
She did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that good or bad?
Well, it's interesting to me that it's taken her this long to figure out that we have a spending problem, as she voted for the stimulus package, the bailout package, the cash for clunkers, and the debt has doubled basically in the time that she's been in the U.S. Senate. So now she's got saw the lot, yes, I don't know, plus Obamacare, is supposed to cost $1 trillion, add $1 trillion to the national debt. All of a sudden, now McCaskill thinks we need a spending cap. I'm confused. Do you agree with her on this bill, or do you disagree with her on this bill? Well, I think we need to reduce and cut spending, but that bill doesn't go nearly far enough.
Where should we reduce spending?
I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the Republican Study Committee group that was led by Jim DeMint. They have an interesting proposal, and I've been looking at some of their proposals in that. They bring it back to 2006 levels and balance the budget within 8 years. Her proposal doesn't even start to cut spending until 2013.
Would you be in favor of doing away with and repealing Medicare Part D, which was passed by the Republican Party and not funded? Would you be in favor of repealing that as well as Obamacare?
Actually, what this study committee does is it actually increases Medicare spending at an average economic growth rate of 4.2%.
Increase? What increase? We should be decreasing Medicare spending.
Well, what I'm saying is it reduces the amount of increase.
Of the increase. Gotcha.
4.2%, which, of course, is the Washington way of doing math. But all I'm saying is that, when you look at how to do this, you got to look at all these different programs and how they work together. And it seems to me this proposal that's been put out on the table by this group has some interesting ideas in it.
Last question for you, Sarah Steelman. Would you be in favor of repealing Obamacare? Your party, while in office, passed, I guess before the Obamacare, was then the largest government program ever, which was Medicare Part D. It was passed with no money to actually pay for it. Would you be in favor of repealing Medicare Part D?
Look, I think we definitely need to put those things out on the table and go back and take a look at them. We have a spending crisis in this country. The national debt is killing us. We have, Moody's looking at whether they're going to maintain the ratings on our bonds. So we have a spending crisis, and I think we have to put all those things on the table and look at them and make sure that we do it in the right way, in a very deliberate way, because we have to reduce spending. So we have to reduce the rate of spending in this country. So we need to get to the point where we have a balanced budget again, and where we're not spending more than what we're taking in.
Would you? So you would be in favor, or at least talking about reducing Medicare Part D?
Right. Those things have got to be on the table.
What about Social Security? Would you be in favor of reducing those benefits?
I think we need to protect those people who have paid into it. I think the idea of looking at the younger ages and possibly raising the age of retirement should be considered. But, I think you have to protect those who have paid into it. So looking at something like those people under 50 or 55 extending their retirement age, I think that's a...
well, I paid into it. What do you want to cut me for? Why don't you cut somebody younger than me?
All of us are going to have to look at saving this country, and we have to reduce spending in order to do that.
Sarah Steelman, I'm sure we're going to have you on a lot more times between now and when's the primary date? What's that primary election date?
Well, it's August. I don't even know what the date is. It's not this year.
So it's August a year from now. It's going to be a long campaign.
It is.
Going to be a long campaign. All right. Well, we're at time. Sarah Steelman, thanks for checking in, and I'm sure we'll talk back with you and talk to you and hear from you numerous times between now and a year from August.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. Sarah Steelman, former treasurer here in the state of Missouri, is going up against Ed Martin before she takes on Claire McCaskill.